hope they don't say I'm making her cry. This is like
Sorry.
Barbara Walters.
Oh my God. Sorry.
What if we combined your sections?
You want me to co-teach with the chair of my tenure committee?
I want him to see you in action in the classroom.
He's gonna think I'm his TA.
There's no way he's going to be able to dismiss you when he sees how fucking brilliant you are.
I already set my syllabus.
Listen, when Bill was an undergrad, Elliot was the one who packed the halls here. You couldn't even get into his lectures without special permission, unless you
Yeah,
were a
and he
senior.
hasn't updated those lectures in like 30 years.
Still, he makes or breaks careers. Yes, I get it. When I started, it was like, why some Asian lady teaching Emily Dickinson? But we have a real opening here. You're going up for tenure. I'm chair of this department. The dean has my back, so let's just get your case through, and then let's fucking shake this place up.
Welcome to Behind the Lens. And I say behind the lens because Amanda Peet has been in front of the lens for her entire career, but now with The Chair on Netflix, a 6-episode, what do you call it, a dramedy?
I think, sure.
She is not only producing, but wrote it, created it, is doing a showrunner, doing everything. Very exciting. Welcome, Amanda Peet.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and congratulations on The Chair. It's really
Thank you.
smart.
Oh, thank you.
A great satire on academia in many ways, too, but wonderful kind of characters, and it goes in all kinds of places. That's why I said, is it a dramedy? Is it a comedy? How would you describe it as its creator?
We were really scared to pitch it because how do you pitch it? We want to make a show about an English department. So we knew that we were going to really try to make it funny, and once I started interviewing a lot of professors, some of whom work at these small New England colleges, obviously through the dead of winter, it started to sound more and more like a soap opera in some of these places. So it seemed more and more feasible the more I talked to people that it could be a comedy of sorts and could have a lot to do with jockeying for power and having sex with the wrong people and
And stuff about Hitler and Nazis going viral and things.
Yeah.
You're throwing in a lot of interesting kind of things, but it's all in that world too now. It's almost hard to navigate, I imagine, from what we always thought of as college and academia. And now it's a whole different deal, especially with the internet and social media and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think, professors these days are walking a very fine line, some of them, and, have a lot of love and concern for their students' emotional well-being and their ability to ignite their interests in this era of, fast thinking and, our tech era.
Right.
So yeah, they have an uphill battle.
Yeah. So interesting. You are no stranger to writing. You've written plays, Geffen Playhouse. I know one of them played for a couple of months here in Los Angeles, and before that, and then also children's books. This is not your first time at this particular rodeo. In terms of writing, is that something that you've always liked to do and just
Well, I think in college I took a fair amount of fiction writing classes, and then it still torments me a little bit. I don't know why I kind of segued into acting first and didn't try to go for an MFA program or something like that, because I do really love it, and I did really love it. I think it was probably a confidence issue. Maybe I got some acting roles before anyone told me I, could maybe try writing for a career.
yeah.
But being married to a writer gave me a lot more confidence, and I think also just having been in the profession for 20 years, you start to pick things up. Like whether dialogue sounds real and authentic or not, and mostly what to do with dialogue, I think, and you know, tracking story and all of that stuff. So I feel like I have a massive advantage. And then also I have a community of actors. So when I'm done with like a terrible draft, there are a lot of people who will tell me it's terrible and you're not ready yet. So,
but
yeah.
well, you mentioned your husband, David Benioff, and of course, D.B. Weiss, and they are producing it with you.
Yeah.
And even I believe D.B. Weiss's wife. You're all like, you've
Yes.
all like sort of like written together. It's
Yes.
all a
Yes,
collective.
it's all a whole incestuous. Yeah.
How does that work? That's quite the literary collective, I would say.
Well, they're all very brilliant, so I'm incredibly lucky. And yeah, I feel like it has over the years kind of become like, I hope for me, some kind of version of going to graduate school. You know, we generally put each other through the ringer in note sessions that are very unpleasant. They're tempered by alcohol, but still. And they all went through, David and Andrea were in an MFA program at Irvine together, and then Dan went to Iowa. So they all, you know, had these horrible note sessions through their graduate school careers. So I took a little bit of getting used to, but I've also been put through the ringer by reviewers in public. So, you know, it makes it easier.
Well, you are a veteran of this business, so you have been. Did you ever, you know, as an actor, want to just go on there and go like, you know, I can rewrite this scene and make this much better, and have people not listen to you because, you know, she's just an actor in this?
Sure. I mean, generally writers and showrunners and directors don't want to hear from actors unless they have pre-existing knowledge about their intelligence in terms of like story. So yeah, I've been shot down many, many times, and I've also been too scared to speak up many, many times. So it's really, really fun to be in control.
That should be the title of your book.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, really fun to be in control.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
But you're the, you know, when they say showrunner, you're the showrunner. Now you're on, the shoe is on the other foot, as they say.
Yeah, so it's both really, really scary, a lot of responsibility. There's no passing the buck, but it's really fun to boss actors around.
Yeah. Well, can I say the actors that you get to boss around on this show are pretty damn impressive. Sandra Oh is so good in this show, and so
Isn't
perfect for her
she?
to see her in this role.
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with her. She did a play at the Public in New York in the 90s with Jessica Hecht called Stop Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought she was like a wonderful romantic comedy star from her work on Grey's Anatomy and Sideways and this play, Stop Kiss. So I was really looking to make a romantic comedy, and I needed someone who could believably pass as someone who has a PhD in literature, but who can also do a pratfall and can also get all moony over some dude. So
Yeah.
she was the only person I could think of.
That's so interesting. Well, considering the show and where it went in terms of the romance, it's very interesting directions that you wound up taking here. I come to Jay Duplass, who is so great in this show. I love Jay Duplass, first of all, and Mark, all of them. You obviously did Togetherness, and that's where that relationship formed.
Yeah, so I felt like I turned 40 and I was kind of looking to do some more interesting roles, and they just to me it was like the holy grail when I got that show, working with Melanie Linsky and working with them, and I really felt like they passed me the ball. I really felt like they trusted me, and so it was very sad when we had to break up. And so for years, I've been trying to get back together with them.
Hence the title Togetherness. Yeah.
And Jay, Jay's work in Transparent is like just ridiculous. And so he's sort of a muse. He and Sandra were really like in my head for a long, long time before I was ready to show anyone anything.
Is that right? Do you
Yeah.
write with actors in
Yeah.
your head? Because
Yeah.
a lot of writers just, oh, no, I don't. I just write it and then hope. Because they don't want to get disappointed if they can't get those
The
actors.
real truth is I write for myself, and then I get to like page 15 and I poop out. And I get bored of this person and uninspired. And then, so then I think of, then I start thinking about Sandra, and then all of a sudden,
it goes different directions.
Yeah.
So the key is not to write for you.
Yeah.
You know. And
This
then
is what
they would
I've
say,
learned over the years, is that I can barely get beyond a pitch in my own mind. Like, you know, woman, late 40s, I'm 50 now, but blah, 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 is in this situation. And then I start writing, and then I'm like, yeah, not that inspiring.
You know, you say you're 50 now very freely. You just said it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, this industry is known as being ageist. And they say, what does she think coming in and being a showrunner? She's never done it. She's 50. What makes her think she can do this?
It's a really good question. It's a fair question. I had the same question.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of unfair advantages. I had incredible line producers and DP and Dan Longino, my beautiful director who made Pen 15. So I think it was Norman Jewison who said, just get the right people around you, and then have brutal note givers before you go to shoot. I think that's the key. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the people that tell you the honest to God truth about this.
Yeah, a small group of people you can trust, I think, is the key. And a lot of people don't have that. Writing is a very lonely thing. But since I've been doing this for a long time, I know a lot of actors, and I've made a lot of friends and have a lot of colleagues. So it's just so much easier. I'm not alone somewhere writing, hoping and imagining that I could show this to someone without having them completely close the door.
Yeah. Do you write where you absolutely know where it's going, like episode 1 or pilot or whatever we want to call it, and then you know where it's gonna wind up at the end of this season?
You know, over the years, my husband has taught me that things usually turn out better when you do have that. So I haven't gone back to the old way I used to write in a long, long time. I really try to have some kind of map, and oftentimes it changes.
Right.
I was wrong and the dismount doesn't work or whatever. I don't stick the landing and have to pivot, but having some idea of what's going to happen at the end is helpful. Yeah.
Well, I love what happened at the end of this. God, can I say it? You got to watch this show. You got to watch it, but Holland Taylor. Just another great character in this. They're all, you know, something just sort of gels right away with this show. You know, they're all very interesting, and it's right there. And that often takes something several episodes or seasons or things to really get going. And this one's like right there from the beginning.
It was I try not to get too emotional about it, but I was so honored by the people who came out in the middle of COVID, especially my older cast members, Holland and Bob Balaban.
Oh, and Bob Balaban too, I know.
Yeah, they weren't vaccinated yet, and I just, it's very special to me and will always be one of the great honors of my life that they got on a plane to Pittsburgh, and I get very emotional about it.
Well, that's cool, though.
So and obviously they're veteran actors, and everyone. It was a special time. It was a very unique time because of COVID. So I think people were just had a lot of heart about what we were trying to do, and that we had to do it quickly, and we had to be efficient, and it was one of those special things.
I love that. I hope they don't say I'm making her cry. This is like
Sorry.
Barbara Walters.
Oh my God. Sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. And it's genuine, which I love. And also, so is this continuing, or are you calling it at 6?
You know, we're not sure yet. I think, you know, it's a tough project, and I think we're waiting to hear from Netflix.
Yeah.
So watch it.
Well, definitely, definitely watch it. Netflix, good place to work. This whole streaming world and all
yeah,
that.
I mean, they were incredibly supportive and very, it all happened very quickly, and they gave us a lot of freedom, creative freedom, and yeah, it was very special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acting still a first love, or actually, I get the impression writing is your first love.
I think both. I think they're just like neck and neck, really, for me. But yeah, I think both. Obviously, I mean, good writing is what you're always looking for. So, you know, when you turn 50 in this business, it's not easy if you're not at a certain, you know, stature. It's not easy as a woman to get really interesting parts. It's getting a lot better, but
Yeah.
definitely. But it's, you know, there aren't that many.
No. I told you before we started, I looked at a lot of your screen credits. Obviously, you've done a lot of television series too. I noticed you studied with Uta Hagen. You can't go wrong there, right?
Yeah, I still think about her all the time.
I mean, this is like the top of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, amazing. But when I look at a lot of your credits, Something's Gotta Give, for instance, which is just, I'm a huge fan of Nancy Meyers. And there's an example of a woman in this business that take charge, gets it done, and knows exactly what she
And that was
wants.
a different time. That
Yeah.
was pre-Me Too, pre a lot of things.
Yeah,
So
Something's Gotta Give, which
so
Diane
I'm not
Keaton-
gonna. There's stuff that went on, and she's a badass.
So you have that experience. Nicole, Hall of Center is another one, Please Give, which is a lovely movie. A lot of Nicole's movies are. And she's another example of somebody that, you're right, pre-Me Too and all of that have prevailed. And so you've had that experience on...
Trailblazers and beautiful sense of comedy, both of them.
Yeah.
And
Does that rub off is where I'm going with that? I mean, you know, when you work with people like that?
I think so. I mean, it's sort of like a chicken egg thing. Like, I don't know why I was so simpatico with Nancy and with Nicole, but had admired them from afar for so long. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just the feeling like, oh, I can do it.
Yeah.
Somebody, you know, somebody did it and somebody's doing it.
Yeah.
But I felt similarly working with the Duplasses, you know, that they sort of blaze their own trail, and they kind of work a little bit outside the system, and they're, you know, so they were a huge inspiration as well.
I know both of them, and I've talked to both of them, and they are an independent machine.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, they really are.
And so is Nicole.
Yeah, she is too. Yeah. I mean, and she can go all over the place. She just did The Last Duel with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, walking into something completely unexpected.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you have in your head beyond this show that you would like to do?
I'd love to work with Nicole again.
Listen, if you're watching.
Nicole. Yeah, and I hope to keep writing, and I'd love to write for Sandra and Jay some more. And my cast, my amazing cast. I hope that happens, but if not, hopefully I'll come up with another idea and try again, take another shot.
But not write for yourself, huh?
It just doesn't work. I really wish it did.
Yeah, right?
Trust me. Like, I mean, yeah, it just doesn't work. It actually becomes like a variety show, because then I'm like, oh, I want to have an accent. Oh, I want to have like a snaggletooth and a hunchback. Oh, you know, I want to be a heroin addict. You know, I sort of like get distracted by my own ego and my own need to kind of like prove some kind of acting thing.
Yeah.
And instead of just like, what is a story you want to tell here?
Well,
Something like that.
I think you're doing it. You're telling good stories.
Thank you very much.
Can't wait to see what's next.
Thank
In
you.
front of the camera, behind the camera, wherever it goes. Amanda, Peet, thank you for joining us on
Thank you so
Behind
much.
the Lens.
Thank you. I didn't mean to cry.
No, I love that.
Oh my God, I'm so emotional. That's what happens when you turn
That was
50.
great.